Hey, gang, welcome back to our Finding Better podcast. My name is John Suzuki, and I'm your host. And my background is from Santorini, Greece, which is where I just got back from. And I'm a little bit jet lagged, so please bear with me. But I'm going to tell you about this. This is our 200th Finding Better episode. I wanted, even though I'm jet lagged, I wanted to do this episode to thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you to all my amazing, amazing guests who've shared their own experiences in finding better. Because sometimes the best path to success is to follow in the footsteps of others who've been there and done that, right? And thank you to my production team. My goodness, I couldn't do this without you. This has become the unexpected honor of my life. And for you to join me and listen to what we have to say is wow. Wow. When I first started, I told my daughter that I've always said that if you lift one person, you lift the world. And so my daughter, when she finally convinced me to do this podcast, she said, "Dad, do you think you can reach one person?" And I said, "I hope so." And she said, "If you do you think you lift the world?" I said, "Yeah." And that was the beginning of our Finding Better podcast 2 years ago. And, the whole thing about this podcast is about experience. It's about personal, lived, real life experiences. Because a friend of mine once told me, he says, "John, you know what? I could care less about your opinion." And I went, "Seriously? That's kind of rude." And he says, "No, no, no, listen." He says, "I could care less about your opinion, but I'll listen to your experiences all day long." And that's what Finding Better is all about. You know, we now have over 3,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. 3,000. I have done hundreds of keynote speeches around during my career. I have never had an audience of 3,000 people, let alone those folks that don't subscribe. So thank you. Thank you so much. And we're going to make this even better. We're going to make it even better. Going into 2026, we're going to make it amazing. It's still going to be focused on experiences, okay? Because you can't argue with experience. It's not about theories. It's not about academics. It's not about opinions. We don't talk about opinions. We talk about real life lived experiences. And our episodes are between 30 and 60 minutes long. And I've always said that if you listen to something or participate in something that's 30 to 60 minutes, and you get one great idea. That's it. It'll be worth it. And we do 50 episodes a year. We used to do 100, but now we're doing 52 episodes a year, right? That's 52 great ideas. It can be amazing. That can be absolutely life-changing. And I promise you, there's going to be episodes where you get two, three, four, 10, a dozen, 20 ideas. Don't get overwhelmed. Because we're here to help. It's all about giving. I believe we all have three careers. The first is to learn and go to school. The second is to earn a living for yourself and your family. And the third is to return and give back. I'm on my third career. This is all about giving back. And so hopefully, you'll get value out of this. You'll get value out of it. We're talking from our heart. Nobody wants anything from you. Very safe space for you to come and learn. Okay. So, here's the thing over the last 2 years of doing this, there's three things that are common to everything that goes on. Okay. Three things. Write these down. The first thing is you have to be curious. In order to be successful in finding better and making your life better, you first have to start with being curious. Now, here's the thing about being curious. We we haven't been we had our curiosity beat out of us, right? When we were kids, you remember, you were curious. So someone would say something to you and you go, "Why? Why? Why?" You'd drive people crazy doing that, right? But you were curious. You were curious. The second thing, oh, and by the way, that is a muscle that you have to fight back and win back or fight to win back. Okay? Because the more you use, the more you exercise your curiosity and you give yourself permission to be curious, the stronger that curiosity muscle is going to get. We've been told and battered our entire lives with, well, that's a stupid question, or you're not going to amount to anything, or why would you do something like that? Or that's just dumb, right? And every time that happens, which happens to people every single day, it just beats us down and it beats the curiosity out of us. You remember the old saying that says curiosity killed the cat? Well, curiosity also saved the cat, right? So think about it in those terms. Curiosity. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There really is no such thing as a dumb question. And I, of all people, ask so many questions because I want to understand. And when you ask questions, you learn, right? And if people tell you that's a stupid question, go off and ask somebody else and get their answer. Okay? The second thing, first thing is curiosity. The second thing is clarity. Here at Finding Better Podcast, we want to offer you clarity. We want to offer you a laser focus of things for you to work on that are important to you, that are important to you to achieve the things you want to achieve, right? But in order for you to achieve the things you want to achieve, you have to be crystal clear on what your goals are. You think of the Seahawks and the Patriots just played on in the Super Bowl. Do you think that any of those men on that field could have been on that field if they didn't have crystal clear clarity on what their jobs were and what they wanted to accomplish in their life? I don't think so. So clarity, okay? Curiosity, open your horizons. Take the blinders off. That's what curiosity does. Clarity. We're going to help you build that clarity so that once you've opened your mind and you've come up with that direction that you want to, and I don't know if that direction is to become a millionaire or to retire or to start a family or to buy a house, whatever those things are, right? They can happen. And I want to help you make those things happen. And the third thing, curiosity, clarity, and courage. Courage. Now, what does Suzuki mean by courage? It is really hard to do something different from the status quo, right? You know, you know what crabs are, right? You want to know how to keep a crab in a bucket? You put another crab in the bucket. And whenever one crab would start getting out, the other crab would just pull him down. Okay? So if you want to keep crabs in a bucket, just make sure you have one more than one. You have two, three, four. They'll just pull each other down. And isn't that kind of like how society is these days? Even our friends and our families, right? In the spirit of wanting to protect us, they become absolute dream stealers. And you've tried this before. Hey, what do you think if I went out and did this? I'm thinking for some people, I'm thinking about going to college. Nobody in our family has ever gone to college. What makes you think you'd be able to make it to college, right? Or I want to get a job I want to get a job with a great company. Well, how are you going to do that? That's a dumb idea. You know what I mean? And even if you dare to be different, someone's going to pull you back. Someone's going to pull you down. When you create a goal for yourself that is bigger than the people around you, you have to fight for it. Okay? Surround yourself. Now, you don't even have to surround yourself. Just get one buddy. Just get one buddy who's going to support you and encourage you and nurture you and just energize you. And then get two, get three, get four, and start surrounding yourself with people who are going to support you in achieving your goals. We're going to help you do that. We're going to help you with that support So you don't have to be courageous yourself, but you have to start it. Finding better is always a wonderful thing and sounds really good, but I am not saying it's easy. Okay. But I am saying that we're here to help. And that's what we want to do. Okay. Few things we're going to talk about. Now I'm going to circle back to my background, which is in Santorini, Greece. All right. So Santorini is beautiful. See how all the buildings behind me are white? You know why those buildings are white? Because it gets so hot there in the summertime that the buildings have to be white so they don't absorb, they reflect energy and keep the buildings cool. That's how hot it is in Santorini, Greece, and all over Greece. You go wherever, the buildings are white or a light yellow. And so we happened to go in the off season, which was just last week. And a lot of people don't go during the off season. In fact, probably 80% of the businesses are closed. But the really cool thing is that you got the whole place to yourself and it's beautiful. I mean, just check it out, right? And if you want to see more, just go to Google and or images.google.com or go wherever, go to ChatGPT and say, show me pictures of Greece. Absolutely spectacular. Now, what does Greece have to do with what we're going to be talking about moving forward this year? One of the things we're going to talk about is money. Okay. We're going to talk about money because money is really, really important in our lives. And I'm not saying that money is everything, but I am saying that what money offers you is choices. Now, here's the thing. Very few people really understand how to manage money. They know how to make money, but the thing is that wealth is not defined by how much money you make. Wealth is defined by how much money you keep and invest, right? I have known people in my life who make $500,000 a year, but they spend more than $500,000 a year. So technically they're broke, right? You don't want to be in that position. I don't want you to be in that position. You know, this trip to Greece was a reward. It was a reward. It was partly a celebration of my 40th anniversary with my wife, but it was a reward for all of our hard work. We paid for this trip in cash. We did not put any of it on a credit card. Okay? And here's the thing. Here's rule number one. I want you to think about and maybe write down. If you're making payments on anything, you can't afford it. You can't. If you're making credit card payments, let me back up. Credit card payments on anything, you can't afford it. Here's the thing about credit card payments. You know how much interest credit card companies charge you? They're now up to 28, 29, 30%. So when you don't pay off your credit card and you say, oh, you know what, I'm just going to pay the minimum payment on my credit card, you're being charged for $1, you're being charged $1.30. That's how much you're paying back. And God forbid you take longer to pay back. So these credit card companies are charging you 30% for you to use their money. You know how much the banks are paying you for them to use your money? 2, 3, maybe 4%. Is that crazy or what? On the one hand, you're paying them 30%. On the other hand, they're paying you 3%. Now, how are you going to generate wealth in the long term when you have that working against you? And I'll tell you something. 2 days before Christmas, I went to Disneyland, took my grandkids, and we went to Disneyland, and the place was packed. And I'm sitting here going, where are all these people getting all the money? Because Disneyland isn't cheap, right? The answer is they put on their credit card and they pay for it later. Once again, if you have to put Disneyland on your credit card, you can't afford to go to Disneyland. Give yourself Disneyland as a reward. Save up for it. so that when you go to Disneyland, you pay for it and you're not paying for it over and over and over again like you would when you put it on your credit card. We're going to talk about stuff like this, right? We're going to The banks love you using your credit cards. Don't don't make the banks happy. Okay? Okay? Don't make the banks happy. So, with that, this trip to Greece, I made it a reward. I paid for it in cash. Okay? Didn't put it on a credit card. So, make it a reward. Okay? I retired 3 years ago. Okay? And I am living a really cool life. I am living a life that I wish everybody could live. I just read today that the median retirement savings for the average American worker, for working Americans, you sitting down? $95. Now, here's what that means. Say we got 300 million working Americans, right? The 150 millionth, the one right in the middle, has got 95 bucks in their retirement savings. If that doesn't make you scratch your head, I don't know what will. My point is, we're going to talk about these things, okay? We're going to give you ideas. We're going to show you paths. We're going to we're going to share with you. People are going to share their secret sauce on how they've built their wealth. Past tense, built their wealth and are living with the rewards today. Does it take some sacrifice? Yes. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Okay? So, we're going to talk about money. Second thing we're going to talk a lot about is artificial intelligence. Now, don't hang up the phone. Okay? Artificial intelligence is not hard. It's not hard. It's the easiest thing. I've been in technology for 40 years. This thing is harder than artificial intelligence. You know why? Because you just go, write this down, chatgpt.com. Okay, that is one artificial intelligence program. You go program. Oh my gosh, I can't handle programs. Okay, no, you can handle this program. Go to chatgpt.com. And then when you have it downloaded on your phone, just ask it. I don't know what you do. Help me understand. And it will tell you. And then you'll understand. And we're going to talk about it because artificial intelligence is changing our world in ways that we have never experienced before, faster than we've experienced any change in human history. And it's happening right beneath our feet. A lot of us don't even know it's happening. It's making us more productive. It's helping us improve our work. And yes, it's taking over jobs. When people ask me, John, what can I do? What should I do for my work? What should I do for my career? I tell them all the same thing. Learn AI. Learn it. If you fear it, confront it. Go after it. I used to be afraid of heights, so I jumped out of an airplane. I'm a retired paraglider. Okay. I used to be fearful of deep water, of blue water. So I went scuba diving. I'm not afraid of that, but confront it. If you're afraid, if you're afraid that AI is going to overwhelm you, give yourself the chance. Challenge yourself. Get curious. Get clarity and get courage. Okay? There's nothing more important, I believe, in career management than learning how to use AI. Okay? Is it taking over jobs? Yes, it is. My chief technology officer recently told me, that his 7 people could do more work with AI than his 75-person team could do 3 years ago without AI. Now, does that mean that 68 people lost their jobs? No. But that does mean that 68 people didn't have the opportunity, that wasn't given an opportunity because AI was doing the work already. So they weren't needed. I drive around in a Tesla. It's a self-driving Tesla. It is a robot. Okay. There's going to come a day, probably within the next 12 to 18 months, when taxis are going to be self-driving Teslas. What's going to happen to the taxi drivers? What's going to happen to the Uber drivers? I'm going to be able to turn my Uber into a taxi so that while I'm not using it, it can go off and become a taxi and take people around and come back home. I'm going to be able to have it take me to the airport and just tell it to go back home by itself. These are things are happening right now. The self-driving capability on the Tesla is unbelievable. I just type in where I just tell it. I tell it, take me here, and it takes me there. And it's a better driver than I am. And I am actually a pretty good driver. Okay. So these things are happening. It's moving forward, and humanoid robots are already being marketed. Okay. This world is changing fast, and we're going to explore it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what you can do so that you can survive and thrive in it and not get hit by it like a semi truck. Okay? In my view, there is no role on planet Earth that is immune from the progress being made by artificial intelligence. None. Okay? So then it becomes, okay, what do I do about it? You know, let's say this is where we are today, and this is going to be our world 10 years from now, when all of this automation has really revolutionized our lives. If we survive it, 10 years from now, it's going to be amazing. The question is this messy middle. What are we going to do here? That's what we want to talk about. Those are the things we want to share with you. Okay? And it's going to be really, really cool. What about relationships? What about our humanity? The fact of the matter is that's our humanity is about all that's going to be left. Did you know? I just read this today. It was reported that 20% of teens prefer AI as a partner over people. Why? Because AI is more empathetic and it's more responsive than humans are. 20% of teenagers. Parents, please pay attention to your teenagers. Get them out, go on family vacations, get them in front of people. Okay. The greatest thing you could do as parents right now is to get them to play with others, get them out, get them interacting, get them to learn human skills, get them to learn how to deal with other people, right? Get them off their screens. And so we're going to talk about this. All right, enough said for now. Just look around. Look around. Okay? And you're going to see it. The Super Bowl. All the statistics that they show I mean, that thing was full of artificial intelligence. Okay? So, all right. So, finally, we're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence. We're going to continue to talk about experiences on everything at every level. And you're going to find, here's the other thing that's common about all of them. Life's not fair. Life's not fair and life's not easy. And to make progress, people are afraid to fail. Okay? But the greatest lessons and the greatest learning come from when you failed. Think about it. Rewind your tape, right? I mean, any professional athlete, any professional at anything has made innumerable mistakes and had massive failures, but they get up, dust themselves off, and get back to it. If you're going to move forward quickly, fail quickly, fail fast. Okay. When you fail fast, you're going to learn fast. Something to think about. Okay. But the thing about the Finding Better episodes is that we're going to share everybody shares their secret sauce in life in every episode. You can't get this anyplace else. It's really, really cool. And it has been the unexpected joy of my life. It really has. So please join us for every episode. Why? Like I said, because if you get one great idea out of every episode, right? You're going to have 52 great ideas at the end of the year. Holy cow. That is life changing. And take it to heart. Take it to heart and do it. Do it. So listen, we have a bunch of things coming to you later this year that are so cool, and I'm going to tell you about it later on. For now, I am launching a new website on April 1st. Okay. So on April 1st, go to johnsuzuki.com and you'll see a whole new website with a whole new bunch of things that I think you're going to really, really, really like a lot. And, the whole idea is that I want this to be the year that you launch into the life that you want to live, right? The life that you've dreamed of. Let's make it happen. Like I said, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. That's a promise. But that's where curiosity, clarity, and courage come in. And that's where I come in. Okay? We're going to have a great year. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for celebrating our 200th episode. My promise to you is that with your support and participation, we're gonna do even better. We're gonna do even better. And and do our part to make this year, 2026, your best year ever. I would love that. Okay? So with that, I love you. God bless you. Thank you for joining me. Please share, and we'll see you next time. Bye.